Lindsey McDougle is at Northern Illinois University. Dr. McDougle studies the size, financial health, and scope of nonprofit organizations within a given community. Her research also sheds light on perceptions of nonprofit organizations in a particular community. Through her research, nonprofits can understand better how they're perceived within their own communities, and they can also better understand how their own internal composition, their financial health, their size, scope, and complexity influence those perceptions.
My name is Lindsey McDougle. I am an assistant professor of public administration here at Northern Illinois University. When I first got the Kresge Award, I was in the School of Social Policy and Practice at the University of Pennsylvania. After receiving the award, however, I obtained a tenure-track faculty position at Northern Illinois University in the Department of Public Administration, and I recently obtained a tenure-track position at Rutgers University, Newark in the School of Public Affairs and Administration. My colleague and I, Marcus Lamb, applied for the grant to look at community variation in the availability and financial health of nonprofit and human services agencies across communities in San Diego County, and to look at how this variation influenced individual and community level outcomes. And we looked at differences in how people viewed nonprofit organizations and differences in the fiscal capacity of nonprofit organizations from one area to the other. From the Kresge grant, we have been able to publish several articles relating to our research findings. We have also been able to develop a course on poverty in the nonprofit sector at the University of Pennsylvania, which took a lot of the findings that we had from our research and incorporated into a graduate class and kind of helped graduate students to understand how community variations in the nonprofit sector may affect issues of poverty and poverty alleviation. So ultimately, we find that the availability of nonprofit organizations matters in terms of how people come to view and understand the nonprofit organizations in their communities. We also find that predominantly minority communities tend to have less fiscally secure nonprofit organizations, specifically human services nonprofit organizations, than predominantly white communities. So this tells us that many communities that may not have the same availability of organizations or the same fiscal health of organizations may not be able to provide the same level of services that other communities receive. I think the research that we have conducted is helping to advance the field of nonprofit sector studies in a variety of ways. There haven't really been any studies that have looked at community variations in nonprofit sector in terms of what implications do these variations have on individuals and communities. A lot of the studies that have been conducted simply look at variation in the sector but don't actually take it a step further. So our research takes it one step further and looks at what difference does it make that one community may have more or less nonprofit organizations than another, or what difference does it make that one community may have more financially secure nonprofit organizations than another. We want to look at the real implications of these differences and not just the fact that these differences exist. I think the ultimate goal of this research is to help nonprofit organizations to understand that although you may not have a large quantity of nonprofit organizations in your community, you may not have the most fiscally secure nonprofit sector, these differences do impact the communities that you operate in. And if you don't have a large availability of nonprofit organizations in your area, or you don't have the most fiscally secure sector, you may want to consider collaborating with other agencies in your area to kind of build up your capacity.